It will be what it will be. This is what Vlogmas is. Vlogmas has its own rules. Where do you get your writing slash character slash setting inspirations? Foster that sense of curiosity. The best way to improve your storytelling is to read. Every book you write is a choose your own adventure. Hello and welcome to day 19 of Vlogmas. Welcome if you're new here. Hi, I'm Andrea. I'm a full-time university writing instructor and a part-time content creator and indie author. Welcome back if you're one of my lovely returning friends. It is great to have you all here today for what I will try to make a different vlog from what the last 2 days have kind of been. I just feel like this week is very repetitive. I wanted to make coffee. I still have time. I'm about to dash out for an errand. I have an appointment. I think I will make coffee in this beautiful bright red festive travel mug. It doesn't have squirrels. It has everything else, if my camera will focus. It's got deers and birds and foxes, and there's bunnies on here somewhere, but no squirrels. No squirrels. If I was a product designer, there would be squirrels on everything, which is probably why it's a good thing I'm not a product designer. So yeah, I need to get coffee going. Anyway, I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Repetitiveness. We're gonna try to avoid that. That's, I think, where I was going originally. I would like to try to keep things from feeling too repetitive, but this week it really is just... Give me 1 second and I will move away because I know the kettle is getting loud. Anyone else just freehand eyeball their coffee? I just pour it in. You're supposed to measure it. I never do. Okay, let me go put my water bottle by the front door. Because even though I'm taking coffee, I also never go anywhere without water. Tell me you live in a desert without telling me you live in a desert. Coffee does not keep you properly hydrated, y'all. Just FYI, in case you didn't know that. Yeah, so it is Wednesday morning. I have got to clean up this desk. Actually, no, I don't. I can do everything from my couch again today. I was thinking I've got calls I have to be on. I can do those calls from the couch on my little makeshift table desk workspace that I've been working at the last couple days. So yeah, I have 3 appointments pretty much back to back to back. One of them is out, 2 of them are back here, but the 2 video calls I have are literally back to back, one at 1 o'clock, one at 2 o'clock. And then the 1 o'clock one, my hair appointment is the first appointment. That's at 11. I have to pop out to that, and then that by the time that finishes and I drive back to my apartment, I should be getting home right at 1 o'clock. So I will literally walk in the door and have to set up my computer for that call. And now the kettle is done, so we'll move back to the kitchen. I feel like this is a very chaotic start to this vlog. I should probably just wait until all of it is done. But I'm not going to because I don't have time for that. Because I really do have to leave in about 20 minutes. And starting this vlog is not the only thing I need to do before I go out. So yeah, I'm gonna go get my hair done. It desperately needs it. I can definitely see the blonde starting to come back. The red held on a lot better this time. I think partly because we had switched to permanent from a semi-permanent color dye. So I think that made a difference, but also based on the recommendation of my hairstylist and one of you lovely people, I got a color depositing conditioner, and I've used that a few times. I've probably used that 5 or 6 times in the past month. So not every day, and I don't know that I used it. I think I might have used it once in the time that Tamsin was here. So I definitely noticed a difference because I could tell that the red was starting to disappear, and then I used it and it felt like it brightened back up. Really liking that conditioner. It definitely works, and I'm not even leaving it on for that long, so I think if I left it on for even longer it would work even better. I want to talk to my stylist about that today, because I've also noticed, I think on the instructions it says to use on lightened hair, and I'm wondering if it only works if it's been on like bleached hair that's been compromised in that way, because when I use it, it doesn't seem to do anything to my natural blonde that's growing in. I'm okay with my roots gradually appearing, like I expect that. If the conditioner will at least help keep the rest of it a brighter, more vibrant red, that's great. So we're pretty much going to do exactly what we did last time. I think just top it up with the permanent red throughout the lengths, cover up the roots. It's gonna, if I keep doing this though, it's gonna be really interesting to see what the top part of the strand of hair does that hasn't had any bleach on it, that's just had the permanent red put on it. Because like it does fade eventually, but I'm wondering if my roots are going to start getting more vibrant red as she does them. So that's something else I want to talk to her about today. My hairstylist is an absolute genius when it comes to color. Looking forward to going and getting my hair done. I've got a little Christmas card for her as well. I'm using one of the new cards I got at Target from the Marks and Spencer collection because they're super cute. So yeah, I think that's really it to update you and to like start this vlog off. So yeah, that's the plan. We've got hair appointment, 2 other appointments back to back. I'm probably not going to be able to talk to you again until like 3 in the afternoon, and then this will mostly be like a cozy at home. I need to do some grading. I might take the day off grading. I might do 1 class. I've got 3 classes of the reflective essays left to do. I might just try to do 1 of those today, but then I really want to do a lot of writing today. The vlog for tomorrow is already edited. I woke up at 5:30 this morning, managed to wake up on time, and was able to get the vlog edited. So very happy about that. That is checked off the list. So it's really just all these appointments and then grading and writing. So we'll just see how I feel by the afternoon. I might not have any bandwidth for grading. And as I explained yesterday, I am at the point of grading where this last assignment is my favorite of the semester, and I like to, I enjoy reading them. So if I'm not in a good headspace, I don't really want to grade them. So I might just check my email and call it done as far as teaching work for today, and then crack on with it tomorrow. But yeah, stay tuned. I have no idea how this vlog is going to go, because it's just, I don't usually pack 3 appointments in one day. This could be a really good idea, or it could be a really bad idea. I'm back. I've got red hair again. Well, it's actually stayed pretty red. I don't have blonde roots anymore. The roots have been sorted out. The red has been freshened up. It's been darkened up a little bit, but oh, I love this color so much. I also got some cute little things from my hairstylist. So she put together these little goodie bags for Christmas for her clients. And there was a little sample hair product, Redken 25 Benefits 1 United, which sounds good. A couple Hershey's Kisses, so that's cute. We've got a scrunchie and a hair clip, which feels, the hair clip feels really nice. So does the scrunchie. I can always use scrunchies. And then there was this cute little purse pocket mirror. So it says, sometimes you forget you're awesome, so this is your reminder. And then the lid just flips up. Ooh, it's even like folds back on itself, which is kind of nice. So those are always handy to throw in your handbag, and it's really nice and slim, so even a smaller handbag, that will be great. But yeah, I don't know. I'm feeling really weird this afternoon. Like my brain is just in a weird spot. I don't know how to describe it. I think it's mostly fatigue, and it's been a busy day. Even though I feel like I haven't done anything, it's been a lot of talking. I'm realizing it's been like 4 hours of talking to people, because I had my hair appointment from 11 until 12:30, and then I dashed home from the salon, and then at 1 and at 2 I had 2 telehealth video calls that I had to be on. A lot of talking for that. So I'm tired. And now I'm talking to you all, which is lovely. I love talking to you all, but I just feel a little talked out. And I feel like I haven't done anything, so why am I updating the vlog? I don't know what to talk about. But I also haven't spoken to you since like just before 10 a.m. this morning, so it feels weird not updating the vlog. It's probably just gonna be like 10 minutes of me talking about absolutely nothing. I feel like this whole vlog is just gonna be, it will be what it will be. This is what Vlogmas is. This is what I have to remind myself of. Vlogmas has its own rules. Vlogmas really is just me picking up the camera every day and just taking you around with me, showing you as much as I can, talking to you about whatever random stuff comes up. So yeah, I'm so ready for teaching to be done, but I still have a lot of work left to do. I don't think I'm going to get any work done today though. I feel like all the time, like all my good brain time where my brain was functional has been spent on these appointments. I just feel like I don't have anything left. And because I'm just down to the reflective essays, I really want to enjoy reading those, and I just don't think I would enjoy. I just feel like it would start to feel like a chore, and that's not how I want those to feel. I had some emails, so Canvas, my learning management system, will email me when a student replies to my feedback comment. So I had a few emails of students replying to the comment I left on their reflective essay, and just some of them were really, really lovely. So I really do want to like take my time. So I think it'd be better to just wait to do these last 3 until tomorrow, when I can make a nice cup of coffee or a nice cozy hot chocolate and curl up on the couch under my blanket again and just be awake and coherent and able to like read properly and to leave a relatively thoughtful comment on their reflective essay. I do need to check my email, so because I checked my email at the salon and replied to a few emails on my phone. This is always the time of year when I start getting emails from prospective students trying to get into my classes, but my classes for the spring are already all full. I've had one student trying to get an override, and I had another student email who's already registered for the class but was asking questions about if I did honors contracts or not. The one who wanted an override, I unfortunately had to tell them, I'm sorry, I can't do override, so the only thing you can do is wait and see if a seat opens up, or contact writing programs and see if they can help you find a class with an open seat. We are not allowed to do overrides, which is something I'm actually really grateful for. We work really hard to keep our course enrollment numbers per class at a certain level and to not let it creep above that, because what I don't think a lot of our students realize is I am grading everything. It's not like your intro to biology class or intro to psych class where it's all exam based and the exam is all online and the teacher is just giving the lectures. And that's why those classes can be like 500 students in a giant lecture hall. The reason why my classes are as small as they are is because I have to grade everything my students write. It's all me doing the grading. And so we do have a course cap where each class doesn't go up above a certain number. And it will be the smallest class that a lot of my students take, especially the freshman first year students. I always feel bad because sometimes it's former students who want an override and it's like, I'd really love to say yes, but I absolutely cannot. Or sometimes students have really good stories of why they couldn't sign up sooner and why they really need this class. So I do feel bad a lot of the time. Like sometimes the email is very compelling compellingly written. And overall, as much as I'd love to have them in the class, it is nice to be able to say, I'm really sorry, but it's writing program's policy. I have no control, because I am that person who would believe every story and would end up having 500 students in my class and then be absolutely kicking myself for doing that. So I did reply to some emails earlier, but I know there were a couple emails that I just felt like, wait until you get home and you're on the laptop to do that. I think I'm gonna go get cozy on the couch and do a little bit of email for work and just check in on some things. I think there might be some late assignments that have been turned in, so I could probably get some of those graded as well, which would be really good. But then I think I want to write while my brain is still semi-functional. I want to do at least 500 words today and try to stick with, I'm still kind of in this like mini writing challenge of at least 500 words per day this week, Monday through Friday. So I need to get my 500 in. Yoga. I want to do yoga. I'm not going for a hike or a walk today, although it is getting cloudy and it would probably be really nice. It's not that hot out. It's not hot at all. Oh, it's gotten up to 70, but 70 and a little bit hazy, cloudy, it'd probably be really nice for a hike, but I can feel it in my body. I think I need to stretch more than I need to walk today. So yeah. Anyway, enough rambling. I feel like that's all I'm doing in this vlog is rambling. It's one thing to be chatty and to feel like I've got interesting things to say. It's another to just ramble and feel like I'm just filling time. So I'm going to stop doing that. Hopefully it hasn't felt that way to you all, but that's how it feels to me. So I'm going to go do some work and then do some writing. And yeah, I do think this is going to be more of just a cozy evening at home kind of a vlog. Okay, I'm feeling a little bit better. Feeling a little bit calmer and just happier sitting in front of the tree. It's amazing how much happier it makes me, to be honest. And I'm feeling very proud of myself and a bit productive. So it is now 4:35. I've been doing some work on my work laptop. There were a few late assignments that have been turned in, so I've graded those. So I didn't do any of the reflective essays, but I did grade a few things that were going to need to be graded anyway. So I was able to do that, replied to a few emails, and then I thought, let me just see. I've got this training I have to do. So my university is switching to a completely new HR system. So we're getting just tons of emails about it. It affects some people much more than it affects me. The only thing it's really going to change for me is like how I report sick time, where I go to check to like look at my pay slips, and then I think next year during open enrollment, electing my health benefits. So really the only things I ever use our HR software for. So other people who are like managing hourly employees and things like that, it's going to be a lot more intense. But they did have a 30-minute training and then a 30-minute webinar. I was able to put it up to 1.5 speed and just skip to the part I actually needed. That was on how to actually record any time off that you need to request, which is the main thing I do, and only for sick days, and I do that maybe once a semester. These were on my list. They were on my big list of things to do on my little index card, so I was able to cross that off. And now I can ignore all future emails about training, not about workday in general, but about training. I can ignore those emails now. So it wasn't on my list of things to do today, but it was on my list of things to do by the end of this week. And it just felt like something I could manage to do. So now that's done. So now I can write, if my brain will let me. But I had a question from Avi, who has been blowing up my phone with notifications today. Avi gets a gold star mention on here because she has been watching a lot of old Vlogmas videos today. So Avi, she's watching like the 2022 Vlogmas, which is just fantastic. Cranking her way through it. It just makes me so happy when people go back and watch older vlogs, because I love these vlogs. I love them so much. So yeah, I've been loving her comments all day. But she left a comment on this year's Vlogmas, day 16, where I had told you all, if you were so inclined, to leave a comment with any questions or vlog topics you wanted to hear me address. And Avi asked, where do you get your writing / character / setting inspirations? And I love this question. I really, really do. I'm totally going to use it to procrastinate a little bit from writing, but I'm hoping that answering this question will put me in the right writing headspace. Where I get, I mean, I feel like these are all three separate things. Character, writing inspirations, character inspirations, and setting inspirations. It really depends on the project. So just going through my books that I've written so far, whether they've been published or not published. Project Darkness started with a story idea. I had an idea for these two main characters and their interaction, and I had one scene in particular. It just randomly popped into my head, and it's based on similar scenes for this particular genre. I don't want to say too much because eventually I will publish this book and I don't want to give any spoilers. But this particular genre, supernatural, paranormal, fantasy, there's certain things in the genre, right? There are certain scenes or certain moments between the characters that you expect to have. So I had an idea for one of those scenes. I knew that if I wrote this book, it would have to have a scene like this in it. And that scene is just the first thing that popped into my head, and I continued kind of workshopping it in my head while I was working at this costume shop and sewing all day long. I would hear this scene and see in my head this scene play out. So that book started with that scene, and that was the inspiration to then work on that. With A Brave Start, book 1 of my Across the Pond series, that book started with the setting idea. I wanted to write a book in London. I had been to London for the first time as an adult in December 2010 and January 2011. I was there for New Year's visiting a friend who was living there, so I went and stayed with her at her flat. And I became obsessed. I came home. I did not want to go home. I did not want to come back to Arizona. I came back here. I could not stop thinking about London all day, every day. It just consumed me. I was just obsessing over it. And so I thought, I'm going to write a book set in London. If I'm going to think about London this much, I may as well turn it into something slightly productive. So that's what I did. And thus I ended up with the first draft of A Brave Start. I worked on that draft over the course of several years. I didn't finish the first draft, like declare that, okay, it has a definitive ending. The first draft is done. Now I start editing. I didn't reach that point until somewhere mid 2019. And then I published it at the end of 2019. So that book took me several years, but it all started with the location. And once I knew I wanted to write a book set in London, then I just kept asking my questions from there. Okay, well then what's the book going to be about? Well, it's probably going to be a romance because I like romance. I read a lot of romance. Especially at the time. I read a lot of chick lit romantic fiction, typically young single women living out their big dream in a big city. London felt like a good location to write a book like that. So if I'm writing a romance, who's the main character? So it kind of went setting, rough story idea, character idea, and then developing the story from there. But it all started with London. With the Independent Heart series, it started with a mix of the story and the characters. I knew I wanted to write a series about a group of women who were all independent business owners in a cute, quaint, cozy small town. So it kind of started with both the location and the characters, but also kind of the story that would involve them. My royal romance series, which is yet unpublished as well, that I started with the story idea. I wanted to write a royal romance. I love royal romance. You know, I'm obsessed with royalty. I'm fascinated by royalty. I would not want to ever be royalty. I think if I actually met a royal prince who for some reason was actually interested in me, I'd run a mile. There's nothing about it that really, in reality, sounds good. The fantasy is not what the reality would be. I've studied enough royals to know that's not the right life for me, but I'm just fascinated. It's royal romance. The way I see that genre is a modern fairy tale. So I really enjoy that. So I knew I wanted to do a royal romance, and so then the rest of the story evolved from there. But when it comes to like all of the other ideas that I have and like how I get inspiration, they just come to me. And I know that's like a really unhelpful answer. I think a huge part of it, and like my advice for people if they struggle with this, is do things that foster a sense of curiosity. I am fascinated by history and by geography and by different countries and cultures, and I'm constantly watching documentaries on YouTube and on Netflix, and I read a lot, and not just fiction. I read nonfiction as well. So I always advocate for, like, when you're trying to find ideas, when you're trying to get inspiration, when you're trying to improve your creativity, reading is the best way. And I always push back on writers who say they don't have time to read. If you don't have time to read, you don't have time to write. The two go hand in hand. That might be a bit of tough love for some people, but truly, like, and if reading with your eyes isn't your thing, if you struggle with reading on a page or on a screen, audiobooks, but you need to be consuming other people's stories. The best way to grow as a writer is not to read craft books, but to read other fiction books. So my advice is to always read widely within your genre that you're writing. So I read a lot of romance and I read a lot of fantasy, but also read broadly across genres. So I read mystery, I read thrillers, I read a lot of nonfiction. I love reading biographies. I love reading history books, particularly women's history books. One day, I will probably stop writing the kinds of books I'm writing now, and I will switch to more like historical women's fiction. I read a fair amount of historical women's fiction, but like, I love it. I love women's history. I've got like a whole shelf on my bookshelf that's a lot of women's history. In my PhD, a lot of my research was related to women's history and feminist rhetorics and history of feminism. And there are just so many untold stories of women throughout history. There's a book I found in England in one of the bookshops we went to that is kind of a nonfiction history book on like untold women's stories, and I really want to get that book sometime in 2025. I've started outlining a video on all the books I didn't buy in England. Let me know if you'd be interested in that. And I've pulled clips from all the different bookshops, and I've got video clips and pictures of the different book covers that I took pictures and video of. So I've got this idea for a video in my head. I'm just not sure if anyone would want to watch it, but there were probably about at least 20 books that I wanted to buy in England but didn't, and most of them were nonfiction. So nonfiction, historical books, political books, books about society, books about culture, books about different countries, geography books, you know, books that are the untold stories of different places. All of those are great for inspiration and are just perfect for opening up a rabbit hole for you to dive down. And even if you don't end up writing a book about what that rabbit hole leads into, the rabbit hole might lead to something else. So that's another thing. Don't be afraid to fall down rabbit holes. I feel like sometimes we're told that rabbit holing can be a waste of time, and it can be. But as a writer, it can also be a really great way of getting ideas. Foster that sense of curiosity. Don't assume that you know everything. Acknowledge that you don't know everything, and there's a whole wide world out there for you to explore. Pick areas of interest that you have. So like for me, history is a big one. Be open to what pops up. You never know what idea is going to pop in your head. So yeah, those are some ideas. I've got a few more, but I need to stop procrastinating. Let me do some writing, and then we can talk a little bit more about writing and inspiration, because I do have some more thoughts on this, but I'm loving this question. So thank you, Avi. We will continue this in a moment, but first, time to get back to work for at least 30 minutes, at least 500 words on Independent Hearts 4. Okay, I'm done writing. 526 words is all I have in me today. I just cannot focus. I feel like today is one of those days where I would much rather talk about writing than do writing. So let's talk more about writing. An obvious question. So I mentioned before the importance of reading, and reading widely within the genre you write and broadly across multiple genres. And I talked about how one of the ways that I get inspiration is reading history books, reading about different countries, reading about different moments in history, different people in history, reading about different places. Like even tourism books and stuff are really helpful. There's so many ideas you can get from reading all kinds of nonfiction. But reading fiction is really, really, really important. And I feel like I've heard the argument that someone doesn't like reading as a way of getting ideas because they're worried they're going to copy someone's idea. We're all copying people's ideas. There's no such thing as an original idea anymore. We're all copying and improving and putting our own spin on something. We're all just telling our own version of the same 5 or 6 stories. Even when you go all the way back to like ancient Greece, which many would argue is kind of the birthplace of Western dramatic literature as we know it today, even they were probably copying people. Like even they were probably copying some even more ancient oral storytelling tradition. They were just the first to write a lot of this stuff down, because stories are ultimately just essential part of humanity. Like stories are our humanity put down in a condensed format, if that makes sense. So throughout time and across the world, we've always been telling stories. First it was orally, with oral storytelling, and then we started writing stuff down, and then we also started acting things out, and we get plays and then musicals, and then eventually we get movies and TV shows and all of that. So the medium, the delivery of the story has changed from verbal stories with oral storytelling to written stories to visual stories with everything from film and TV to video games to graphic novels. It's all ultimately storytelling. The best way to improve your storytelling is to read and consume as many stories as possible. So watching movies, watching TV shows, listening to audiobooks, reading Kindle books, reading print books, it's reading graphic novels, playing video games if you're into video games. It's all storytelling, and it's all enhancing our basic story knowledge. And the more you read and the more stories you consume, the better equipped you will be to know when you do have a relatively original take on something. And ultimately that's the best we're going to do, is an original version of an existing story, existing plot lines, existing character archetypes, existing plot tropes. We've already defined all of these things, but the configuration of plot structure and character archetypes and plot tropes, you can mix and match. And so this is where reading a lot really helps, whether you're reading on a Kindle, on a print book, or with audiobooks. It's all valid. I do not approve of snobbery when it comes to privileging certain formats. Books are books, no matter how you consume them. You can read with your eyes, and you can read with your ears, and you can read with your fingers if you're reading Braille. It's all reading. When it comes to reading, like, I get so many ideas through the books that I read, but it's not that, oh, I want to write a story like this person is writing. Instead, it's this author went left, but what if they went right? This author chose path A, but what if they chose path B or path C? Every book is essentially a choose your own adventure. As a writer, every book you write is a choose your own adventure. You make choices. Every sentence, every paragraph, every line of dialogue, every new chapter, you are deciding. Every time the character makes a decision, you are making a decision for where that plot is going to go. And if the character chooses A instead of B, that changes the direction of the plot. You could give them other choices that then bring them back to the same place that that original choice B would have led them, but you'll still have gotten to that place via a completely different route. And if a different author had chosen B from the beginning, they would have then made other choices after that would have led them somewhere completely different. So you could give 5 authors the exact same main male character, main female character, main basic plot, and the same like 2 tropes to fit into that plot with those characters, you would still end up with 5 very different stories. They might have that same like core foundation in common, but the way that they explore and elaborate on that core main foundation is going to be completely different. And it's how you can have stories that are young witch goes to a witch school, right? And get something as drastically different as Harry Potter and my favorite, The Worst Witch, which I didn't watch this year at Halloween. And I usually try to watch that. I love The Worst Witch. The original, like, was it 1980s? Or maybe it was late 1970s. I think it was 80s though, because I think it was my childhood, with Tim Curry as the Grand Wizard. Love it. But like, they're both about young witches with magical powers who get sent to these big scary witch schools. Completely different journeys for them. So you don't have to worry about copying other authors, because you are you and they are different, and so you're always going to write a different version even of the same story. Like 5 of us within this community could all sit down to write a new take on a Cinderella story, and we could be given just the task of write a completely new version of the Cinderella story. All 5 of us have different backgrounds, different lived experiences, different things that we're interested in. We would create 5 completely different Cinderella characters, 5 completely different Prince Charming characters. They'd be set probably in 5 very different locations. Her dress would look completely different for all of us because we all have different fashion senses and styles that we're interested in. So it'd all be a Cinderella story, but they'd be 5 unique books that each would be worth reading. Writing is about choices, and you will have more ideas for all the different choices you can make when you read more fiction. And I will find that I'll be reading something in one book and the character will make a decision, and I'll think, oh, but what if they made the opposite decision? And that'll give me one idea for a scene. And then I'll read another book, and again, the author has made a choice, and I'll think, oh, but what if they made the opposite choice? And that will give me another idea for a scene. And eventually I put all these things together, and I've got a book that isn't any one book that I've read that I've been inspired by, but it's still all been inspired by each of those books, if that makes sense. Going back to what I said earlier, I really don't buy the excuse of, I don't have time to read because I need that time to write. If you've got time to write, you've got time to read. You should be spending at least as much time reading as you spend writing. I think the biggest way to get inspiration for story, for writing, for character, for setting, for all of those things is consuming other people's stories and the stories around you. But I do also get inspired by going to museums, by traveling, by talking to people, by people watching. I will just pick up little bits and little ideas. The biggest thing is staying curious, asking questions, and being aware of the multiple choices that you can make regarding your story, because it really is limitless. Eventually you've got to choose, you've got to narrow stuff down, but when you're just getting started and when you're looking for that inspiration, give yourself as many choices and as many options as possible and see where it goes from there. So, excellent question, Avi. If any of you have questions about writing or anything else that you want me to answer, let me know. I'm always open to future topics like this. It really does help me, especially on a day like today when I had no idea what I was going to be talking about because I had all these appointments. And yeah, but for now, I want to do some yoga, get stretched out a bit, get some dinner, and then crash on this couch. I'm just ready to relax. I don't feel like I've done much today, but I still feel absolutely exhausted. Okay. It's almost 8 o'clock and I meant to put my watch on the charger an hour ago. So let's just go do that. Let's just go do that. Because if I don't, then I'll talk to you all and then I'll forget and then I'll get up to go to bed and be like, you still haven't charged your watch. I have to charge my watch every night before I go to bed because I use it to track my sleep, and it told me that there has been a change in my sleep trends because the whole time Tamsin was here, we were having so much fun that I didn't get that much sleep. I'm dragging. I don't know what it is with today. Today is one of those days where I really feel like I didn't do that much, but it's a reminder that I have to count appointments. Like, I was busy. Well, 2 of the 4 hours that I had appointments was getting my hair done. That's important, but not the same as working. But my other 2 appointments were a lot more intense, and those do count as tasks. They were both very important self-care. And then I did do a tiny bit of grading with the late assignments, and getting that training done was good. It's not even 8 o'clock yet, but I do think I'm going to get ready for bed and get in bed and do some reading. I've got 30 minutes left in the Avon Ellis book that I'm reading, so I will probably finish that, and then I need to figure out what I want to read next. I bought a Christmas novel at Changing Hands, but I'm kind of tempted to save that for a little bit closer to Christmas. Although Christmas is 2 weeks from today. Like, one of the appointments I had today, my therapy appointment, we usually see each other every couple of weeks, and she was like, so what do you want to do about your next session? Because 2 weeks from today is Christmas. At first I thought she was like ballparking it, like, you know, like roughly 2 weeks from today. And so like, would I want to have a session like the day or so before Christmas? But no, I looked at the calendar and literally 2 weeks from the day that I am filming this vlog is Christmas. I'm not ready for multiple reasons. Like, one, I'm not ready because I feel like the season just started and like it can't be that we can't be that close to Christmas. Like, I just want this to just linger and last a long time. I'm just gonna turn my TV off because the lighting is making me look weird and I really don't think I'm gonna watch anything else. So like, yeah, I'm not ready because I don't want the Christmas season to be over yet and it just feels like it's going by so fast. But I'm also not ready because I'm not ready. Like, I haven't finished all my gift shopping. I am farther along than usual, but I'm not done. And also, I don't know, I think because I'm working so late, like I feel like this time last year I was done, my grades were posted, I was officially on winter break, and this year I have so much more work left to do. So it just by the time you're watching this, there's gonna be like 12 days until Christmas. It's not okay. It's not okay. But yeah, I'm feeling so exhausted. And I know why I feel that way. And it will feel better. Like, by next week, I'll start feeling better. I'll get some good rest this weekend, and then I'll finish up no later than Tuesday next week. And then that will give me the rest of next week. That'll give me, if I finish by Tuesday of next week, then that will give me basically a full week until Christmas to be on winter break and not have any teaching work done and to kind of just relax and finish getting ready for Christmas. But it just feels like this whole year has gone by so fast, and now December and Christmas is going by so fast. And that happens every year. Every year that happens. And I don't know how to slow it down. I want to. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm gonna go finish my book, try to find another book to read, get to sleep soon, start over in the morning. I hope you've enjoyed this vlog. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not subscribed. I'd really appreciate both of those things. I really hope you all are enjoying Vlogmas. We still have we're at day 19, I think this is. But we still have 2 weeks left before Christmas, so there's still 2 weeks left of Vlogmas. It's not over just yet. So yeah, subscribe if you're not subscribed. Say hi in the comments. Leave me some sleepy face emojis, because that's how I'm feeling. I am that emoji right now. There's little Z's coming out of my head right now. So leave me the sleepy face emoji. Question. I don't have a question tonight. I don't have a question, and I'm already fighting the urge to just stop this clip and delete it and restart it, and I cannot do that. So let me know your favorite Christmas song. It's the only question I can think of. Bonus points if you can give me a specific rendition of it. The one that's popping to my head, I can't pick an actual favorite, but the one song that's coming to my head is Celine Dion's Oh Holy Night. Every time, my mom has that CD programmed into her car. Every time Celine Dion's Oh Holy Night comes on, the conversation in the car stops. Mom starts singing along. So my favorite Christmas song for tonight, at least, is Celine Dion's Oh Holy Night. Let me know what your favorite Christmas song is, if you have it. If you don't like Christmas, or if you don't like Christmas music, what is your favorite holiday song in general? And yeah, that's the question we're gonna roll with tonight. I'm gonna go. I will see you all tomorrow in the next day of Vlogmas. Thank you very much for watching this one. I'm so done. I really will try to be better tomorrow. I promise. Bye.